So the Red Sox want Blake Snell.
They did.
They are not going to get him, obviously. He signed with the Dodgers.
Oh.
But they wanted Blake Snell this year.
Yeah.
But last year he was just out there into spring training, beyond spring training.
Right.
Anybody could have had him. They wanted nothing to do with him. Now he was one of their big targets.
Or did they really want him?
How does that align? Well,
the good news would be this. I guess if you want to spin it positive, it would be like they weren't spending money last year, they are this year.
Fine. And that is fair. And that's exactly what I think it is.
I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying that's how you'd spin it.
I didn't want Blake Snell anyway. I'm not crying over losing out on Blake Snell. He seemed to want him more than I did.
But you could call your fantasy team Snell the Glove. Little Spinal Tap reference.
Nice.
Snell the Glove.
Nice.
Anyway.
Gale the Snell.
No.
That's always Sunny
I
reference.
understand
That
the
doesn't
reference.
work.
I understand. No.
She's just mashing it. If you wanted to go with that.
What a good character. Yeah. No, I don't want to do that.
That's Chloe from 24, by the way.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
How about that?
Mm-hmm. So
good working actress.
Yeah, she is.
They throw salt at her in that, too.
Just get away.
I don't remember that episode.
I don't quite remember how that overlapped.
No.
But yeah, but a year ago they could have had him. Now they don't want him.
Yeah.
Same thing with Teoscar Hernandez. Like all of a sudden it's like, oh, they're going to get Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah.
You could have had him last year. So it makes me angrier about last year, but whatever. Maybe that's an indication they're going to spend. The point there from Scott Boras is he's now telling teams they're out. He is now narrowing down the finalists. What are you smiling about over there? You're expecting the Red Sox to get a call? Is that what
the Red Sox are going to get a call, and then they're going to say, like, "Oh, we were so close. At least he called us. Like, we know him."
You're the one who went from 0 to 1%.
I did go to 1%.
So you're now believing a little bit.
After sleeping on it, I think I may have made a mistake. It might be back down to 0.
In the moment of weakness.
They're not. Yeah, I got talked into it. You guys, there were a lot of good vibes in here. Everyone's excited. Maybe it's the Christmas tree. It smells great. I don't know. 1% might be high. He's
0.0.
You're back.
Yeah, he's not coming to the Red Sox.
Fair point.
I hate to be the bearer of bad tidings this holiday season, but seriously. He's not coming here.
What a downer. Fair point by Dubs985 in the Twitch chat. Dodgers didn't want Snell either, and then they did.
What, last year?
Yeah, fair.
But they also got Yamamoto and Glasnow last year. That's what I was
going to say. The Dodgers get a little more benefit of the doubt since they, spend and get players.
And Ohtani. I forgot about Ohtani.
Yeah,
they got Ohtani, Yamamoto, and Glasnow.
They spent $700 million on Ohtani. I'll give them out there.
Snell. They were fine. They won the whole thing.
The point is they could have had him last year, and now all of a sudden they want him.
Yeah.
So
are you still at 25%?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Keith, other teams are dropping out. I might have gone up since yesterday. You're going down.
So the report is Soto.
I've been going up the whole time on this Soto.
Not
news.
me.
Yeah.
I feel like
I'll get you Dale's name.
This whole time though, so they're announcing, or they're telling teams that you're out.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't heard any of those teams yet. Right, that hasn't come out.
No. He said they're going to start to.
They're
going to
start calling them.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The only thing I've seen is the Phillies didn't offer him a contract.
Okay. Well, that's what Boras said yesterday, saying that teams will start to be eliminated. They're going to start reaching out to teams. Here's what Ken Rosenthal wrote at The Athletic. I think Drellick got a hat tip on this story as well. I think it's part of the reporting.
All right.
The clubs publicly known to be most serious about Juan Soto are the New York Mets, the New York Yankees, the Boston Red Sox, the Toronto Blue Jays, and the LA Dodgers. So those are the 5 with the most known interest. We heard
Big 5.
John Heyman choking on a pancake off the Jersey Turnpike.
Nice brunch.
Talking about that yesterday. Yep. The 2 people briefed on the negotiations said that all the remaining contenders have also made offers above $600 million.
A big chunk of change.
So you don't think the Red Sox have any chance at landing him? We've had 2 or 3 different people now.
Yeah.
Hector Gomez, Ken Rosenthal, Randy Miller, NJ.com have said the Red Sox have offered $600+ million. You don't think they're going to get him?
Well, if
they have no chance.
If they're all offering $600 million, I don't think the Red Sox are getting a tiebreaker. I think they're going to have to go above and beyond.
Well, I totally agree with that. But,
so if they're getting multiple 600 offers,
but if they're offering $600 million, you don't think there's a chance they're going to go above and beyond and now offer everybody else?
So do you believe that they offered $300 million to Yamamoto last year?
No.
Yeah. So do you believe this?
Yes.
But wasn't it reported last year that they offered $300 million to Yamamoto?
Was it who had that report? This is 3 different reporters in the last week who are saying they've done it.
Yeah, I think they have to kind of blow them out of the water though. Like if you go back to
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I mean, the only team that they can win a tiebreaker with is the Blue Jays. We established that yesterday.
Yeah.
You have to outspend the Yankees, the Mets, and the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm. Did you see Mark Feinsand? I'll tell you what Mark Feinsand said.
Well, yeah, go for it.
So MLB.com's Mark Feinsand says that I have yet to speak to one person in the industry, executives, agents, etc., who believes Soto will wind up at any team other than the Yankees or Mets.
Yeah, the New York team. So Rosenthal has a similar report. He says the Mets are widely regarded as the favorite for Soto, with many in the industry believing team's owner Steve Cohen will top any rival bid. This is why I said this yesterday. I still feel this way. I'm not telling you the Red Sox are getting him.
No, they're not.
But I give it a lot greater chance than you do, and I think the Mets are the team that I would be most fearful of. I'm not afraid of the Yankees do not spend. I'm not afraid of the Yankees.
Yeah.
The Yankees desperately want to keep Soto, he adds, as a compliment to Aaron Judge, and the Red Sox have emerged as a quote-unquote, Keefe, surprising force in negotiations. So make of that what you will.
Surprising force?
He also adds the Dodgers and Blue Jays are considered longer shots in the race.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think if the Dodgers really want him, they'll get him. The Blue Jays definitely, to me, are a long shot. The Blue Jays seem like a team that also aren't really going to close. They're not really going to get anybody.
Okay, so Rosenthal says the Mets are the favorites. He has the Yankees and Red Sox on a similar tier, saying the Yankees want him and the Red Sox are a surprising force.
It feels similar to me, though, with other guys. Now, the money is significantly higher.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like, we just missed on Blake Snell. We just missed on Seth Lugo. We just missed on Teoscar Hernandez. We just missed on Jose Abreu. We had similar offers to all those guys. We were in it. We're the interest kings. Or what was the other new one this year?
Oh.
There was like aggressive player. No, it was some
what was
other fun little nickname for them.
What was it?
But until they sign somebody of real significance, like I'm just not going to believe it.
So I think that's if they get out of the offseason and sign nobody, I think that's more fair. If they reportedly have offered $600+ million, and then they end up with Corbin Burns, I'm gonna believe that more.
I'll be happy with that.
If they end up with Chapman and Teoscar Hernandez and Walker Buehler, and it's a bunch of quote unquote scraps compared to what we were talking about, those are decent players, good players even, but scraps.
Yep.
If they wind up with that, I'll be less inclined to believe they were really in on Soto. But if they pivot from Soto to Max Fried, or they pivot from Soto to like Bregman, I'm gonna look at it and say, no, they were willing to spend this offseason. Multiple writers, people who cover the sport, well-respected guys like Ken Rosenthal said they've offered $600+ million. I think they're in. I think they're really in on Juan Soto.
That shows a real sign of change if they're offering this kind of money because, a lot of times, and the same thing in football, what they reportedly offered Brandon Ayuk or Calvin Ridley with the Patriots. It's like, well, what if the guy says, all right, I'll take it. It's like, whoa. Like now we have to pay a receiver $20+ million a year. Like,
so you think it's a fake $600 million offer?
Kind of.
You do?
Yeah, I feel
thought
like
when we talked about this earlier this week or late last week, you said no, that's a real offer.
Well, no, if like $600 million is a ton of money, so like you have to at least have that prepared on the off chance that they're like, yeah, we'll take it. But I think they can kind of read the room and they know that early on.
It's going north of 700.
Well, it's going way north of 6. Mm-hmm. So like if you come in at 6. Big time offer.
Hector Gomez is the only one who said this specific number, but Hector Gomez said 625. Right? Others now, Randy Miller and Rosenthal both called it over 600.
Yeah, I just feel like if you're Breslow and you put that offer out there, I get it. It's a big offer. It's a staggering number, but you're going against the Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers, and even the Blue Jays. Like, you're not going to have the most.
Here's
money.
A text, 37937. I already think the worst ownership in the city right now is the Patriots ownership. I already think that, okay? But it's neck and neck. It's Henry or Kraft, okay?
The Celtics are selling the team.
Well, good point. I guess we don't really, TBD on them.
TBD on the
Don't you have to put whoever the Celtics owners are by default at number one?
Right now, yes, they are, yeah.
And then
Dad.
Jacobs by default has to be 2.
Yes. Oh, yeah, by default. This is similar to the Covington Mayo.
It's like talking about the Patriots hot seat again. It's exactly like that. Yeah. But, okay, Jacobs by default is 2. Number 1, I think by default is whoever is going to own the Celtics. So it's neck and neck, Henry or Kraft, worst owners in the city. 37937. Is this the worst ownership move ever? Isn't the guarantee... Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was about the Red Sox. Isn't this the worst ownership move ever? It's a guarantee of the future coach being enough. That's about the Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
But I thought what they were saying was if you land Juan Soto, don't you all of a sudden have to give Henry the nod over Kraft in this city?
Yes.
If they land Juan Soto, don't you have to say the worst owner is not even close, Robert Kraft?
No, the two have actually kind of paralleled each other quite a bit.
100%.
Like, there's so much success, right? If you take a step back, there's so much success. But then there's been recent down years. There were times where they spent a lot, and then there have been times more recently where they haven't spent. Mm-hmm. So they mirror each other quite a bit. But this offseason for the Red Sox versus the upcoming offseason for the Patriots could break the tie easily. If you end up with Juan Soto and like a true number 1 pitcher, then they get the leg up. If they don't, and they bring in Aroldis Chapman and a couple other dudes, and then the Patriots go out there and get a number one receiver and like change their offensive line, you're going to be like, now they're better.
Okay, well, if that happens, then you're right.
Well, they're both huge ifs at this point.
Yep.
I don't feel confident in either one. I'm not putting money down that either team makes a major change.
I'm more confident the team that makes a big ad is the Red Sox. They do it. They do it routinely. Now, it's been a while since they've done it, but they do it.
And maybe now they just feel like they've been backed into a corner where they are forced to again.
That's the logic. And the other thing I do give Henry over Kraft when I really sit down and think about it, they're both awful. I don't like either owner. But the one thing I give Henry is that he has found multiple ways to win. Different managers, different GMs, different crop of players.
Oh, that is night and day different.
I mean, the Krafts only won with Brady and Bill, but Brady.
Yep.
That's it. That's all they ever did as owners. They got another Super Bowl appearance with Parcells, if you want to give them that. Yep. They inherited Parcells, but they did do that.
True.
But that's all they ever did. So if I'm breaking ties between two crummy owners, I break the tie in favor of Henry for that reason. But they're both crummy owners. If they go out and sign Soto, I don't even understand how you argue that Kraft isn't the worst owner in the city.
It is crazy. I mean, managers are less important than head coaches, but to win with three different managers, win a World Series with three different managers,
three different GMs,
is pretty impressive. Three different GMs.
They won post Ortiz,
and a handful of kind of star players and like faces of the franchise. Now they've also bottomed out, right? They've had more last place finishes, and the Red Sox. I mean, the Patriots are staring down the barrel of another last place finish.
Give the Patriots,
Pats are trying to catch up.
Give the Patriots time. They might catch them. They really might. Let's go to the phone. Steve is in Agawam. Go ahead, Steve.
Hi, how you doing?
Doing great.
So my thought on Soto is, honestly, I don't think the Red Sox are going to sign him, and quite honestly, I hope they don't, because I honestly feel. Yeah, I honestly feel, why don't you just spend all that money they're going to spend on Soto on pitching? Even if you get Soto, it's not a guarantee that the Red Sox are going to make the playoffs. You know, they have a lot of position players, a lot of good prospects in the farm system. I honestly feel like they should focus more on pitching.
Okay, well, Steve, you can do this. Rosenthal also made the point, by the way, that it's less likely they go out and sign, again, living in a fantasy world, Soto and Burns, Soto and Fried. It's more likely they trade their prospects for someone like Garrett Crochet. Now, he disagreed with that. He said he thought that would be a bad move. Why not hold on to your prospects and just spend the money? But he said that's the word in the industry, is it's more likely they would then swing a trade in addition to the Soto signing for pitching help. Fine. He brought up the odds of making the playoffs. I did catch this today at ESPN. I thought it was interesting because it attempts to quantify who would get the biggest bump from signing Juan Soto out of all the teams in the mix.
Oh, okay.
ESPN said it is the Red Sox. Out of all the teams that could sign him, they would get the biggest bump.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Dodgers just won the World Series. The Yankees were just in the World Series. So it really comes down to the Mets and the
And you're
Red
subtracting
Sox.
him off the Yankees. So
yeah, right.
They write, while we refer to 5 wins as a good baseline expectation for Soto's impact on a team's record, just blanket, that's what he would impact.
Okay.
The number landed at 6.5 for the Red Sox, pushing the Red Sox from a below 500 team to around an 83-win expectation. The improvement moves Boston from the fringe of playoff contention to about a 40% chance of making the playoffs.
It is amazing.
Baseball and war, man.
Yeah, it's amazing. $600 million for 5 wins. It is, I mean.
Well, 6.5 in the Red Sox case.
I
don't quite understand how they calculated that, but that's what he wrote.
No, I mean, it's how it goes. But if you think about the lineup and what the lineup could look like.
But my point to the caller would be, pitching would help you make the playoffs as well. This move almost singularly, increases your playoff chances. I don't want to say exponentially, but by a ton. Where you go from probably not a playoff team to a likely playoff team, just on signing him alone.
Oh, yeah. And I with baseball, you don't need to win 95, 100 games.
No.
You win 88 games, get into the wild card,
go on a
run. It happens all the time. Totally. So, yeah, I think they're really, as frustrating as last season was and previous seasons have been, they haven't been that far out of it. Every trade deadline we've talked about, you got to pick a path. They're right there. Like, you're a couple games out. And that was, without a guy like Juan Soto.
No, they had, who were the bum-ass relievers they had last year?
Oh, my God.
Who were those guys?
Just one after the next.
Lucas Sims.
Oh, yeah, they added Lucas Sims.
And Garcia?
Yeah.
That guy was terrible.
It was not a great deadline. Although Danny Jansen played in the same game for 2 different teams.
I was at both.
Yeah, you're at the Danny Jansen
I was
game.
at both. I was at the one that got rained out, and then
That's
I was
pretty amazing.
I was at the next. I believe the next game, Keefe, might have been after our first show. One of our very first shows.
That's true.
Went over to Fenway and took that in. It was baseball history.
Danny Jansen.
Never seen it before. No. Some people in this room.
He's in the Hall of Fame now.
Some people in this room never saw it. Still, I was there. I was there in the flesh. I witnessed baseball history.
That's amazing.
Never know what you're going to get when you show up to the ballpark. Yeah, I mean, I didn't mean to throw that in your face.
Breslow also brought back James Paxton, who was always hurt and then got hurt again. So there's that.
No, I love that guy.
That was a good ad.
I'm surprised that didn't work out.
Yeah.
617-779-7937. The Red Sox are, hang on, let me get the wording again.
What do you have?
Because I know you scoffed at it. The Red Sox are viewed as a surprising force.
Surprising force. That was my nickname in high school.